Multiplication is for white people. Raising expectations for other people's children by Lisa Delpit. I'll be providing a condensed review of the book. If you would like to see the full length review, please follow the YouTube link in the bottom left hand corner or search Multiplication is for white people on YouTube. Part 1 is inherent abilities. Okay, I have 3 takeaways from part 1. The first takeaway is that there's no achievement gap at birth. In fact, black children tend to outperform their European counterparts into formal schooling. The stereotype threat produces anxiety when people feel their actions have the potential to confirm negative stereotypes. Minority children receive a subtractive education and are often labeled as slow because they have not mastered the norms of middle class white America. Black children are capable of excelling in the same ways prior to desegregation and freedom schools. The teachers were to teach them like their survival depended on it, opposed to using poverty as an excuse for failure, like in Ruby Payne's poverty theory. Lastly, students are negatively affected psychologically by our society's deeply ingrained bias equating blackness with inferiority while equating whiteness to purity and innocence. And you can look at some of the words from our English language that confirm this bias. Part 2, educating the youngest. Okay, I also got 3 takeaways from this section as well. The first takeaway is there's an unspoken message that children with learning differences or disabilities do not need to learn. Schools are forcing kids to go against their natural instincts, which stifles their learning because they are sitting and listening. Branding students of socially stigmatized groups promotes the stereotype threat. Nothing makes more difference in a child's schooling than a teacher. School-dependent kids need good teachers more than anyone because of their school, because all of their schooling comes from the teacher of the school. Students in these situations learn for, not from teachers. Warm demanders who are often seen as mean teachers share cultural identities with the kids that they recognize and respond to. And school reform for a long time with Katrina and from desegregation has led to the reduction of black teachers. Basic skills need to be taught in a meaningful context, such as with thematic units, so students can make real-world connections with the content. Teacher-proof scripted programs are only present in schools that serve low-income minorities, such as Reading First and the Voyager Passport program. Part 3, teaching adolescents. Okay, the first takeaway from part 3 is one function of the school curriculum is to celebrate the culture of the dominant group or to ignore and scorn the culture of the subordinate group. Students, part of the stigmatized and oppressed groups, must think for themselves or forever be victims of society's whims and what society thinks of them. Any skill can be developed with the right amount of practice and drive for excellence. Some people may have innate advantages, but not innate abilities. No one is born smart. Black children must feel welcomed in schools without feeling they must give up their blackness to be successful. We must make their culture seem appreciated beyond just sports and provide representation for them in the curriculum and in society. Takeaway 3. Everyone does not have to be an expert on their culture or even a member of their culture or their race, but should collaborate with a diverse group of people to analyze what's the best way of teaching them. You can't teach children that you do not know. Part 4, University and Beyond. Okay, the first takeaway for part 4 is people are not aware of their culture until they are taken out of it. But those of the dominant culture rarely are removed from there. So it's everyone's responsibility to support the less dominant culture by being courageous, humble when learning, and ensuring that they are represented and present. Okay, takeaway two, the invisibility syndrome is when blacks are faced with disillusionment when their potential and basic humanities are ignored, misrepresented, or misguided. Then you have the Elvis Presley syndrome, is when white people do not acknowledge black excellence until that culture is appropriated by white people. Minorities face these situations each day when they are devalued, stigmatized, and made invisible in grade school, universities, and the world in general. Okay, takeaway three. The Dawes study that was first conducted in the 1940s yielded the same results when it was conducted in 2011, which is evidence of the microaggressions that are unchanged and are committing psychological assault on the self-esteem of blacks. There's no color blindness in our schools or world. Next up is the author's premise. Here I share with what I agreed, my agreements and my disagreements with Lisa Delpit. For the most part, I had little to no disagreements with the content of this book. Next, I will deal with the text features, the readability, the usefulness, and the reliability. I found that this book was both easy to read, useful, and reliable. Okay, thank you for watching. Multiplication is for white people, raising expectations for other people's children by Lisa Delpit.